Alright, let's see what character I need to do next. I guess I could do Gordon.
Let's sing a song for Gordon. He's big, he's fast, he's proud. His paint is blue, so strong and true, and his whistle's really loud. The fastest train on so long, you can't forget his name. So when we've sung for Gordon, well, let's sing it once again.
Gordon's the number 4 engine in the series and is probably the most consistent. He started out as being quite an ass. He made fun of Edward for being old and worn out, then he was hit with instant karma after getting stuck on his own hill and needed Edward to help him up. He also needed Edward's help with pulling the express after he broke his safety valve, but that didn't really work out that well. You know what, it's the thought that counts. When Thomas came to the railway, he was an ass to Gordon, so Gordon decided to play a trick on Thomas by bringing him along with his express train. When Thomas left for his branch line, Gordon hosted a strike against fetching their own trains with the other 2 big engines. He fell into a ditch after being stubborn, and Thomas made fun of him for it.
Annie? Clarabelle? Do you know what I think it is? It's ditch water.
Thomas then fell down into a mine and Gordon had to get him out. This act caused the 2 to form an alliance together.
I'm sorry I was cheeky.
That's all right, Thomas. You made me laugh, replied Gordon. I'm in disgrace.
So am I, said Thomas.
Why, so you are, Thomas. Shall we form an alliance? You help me and I'll help you.
Right you are, agreed Thomas.
In the classic seasons, Gordon was very pompous and snobby, but he would always get bit back in the ass. In domeless engines, the city of Truro visits Sodor, and Gordon is put off by this, saying,
He's got no dome. Never trust domeless engines. They're not respectable. I never boast, but I'd say 100 miles an hour would be easy for me. Goodbye.
Later, he tries to reach 100 miles per hour, but loses his dome in the process. Or how about better view for Gordon? He had a fun dynamic with Spencer, and surprisingly, even when the hit era was around, he was still in character and probably had the best episodes from those seasons, like Respect for Gordon and It's Good to Be Gordon. In my opinion, it wasn't until the CGI series when things started to change. All they ever did with him was make him a pompous ass all the time. Of course, I'm exaggerating, but I'm not too far off. One of the episodes that did Gordon the worst was Forever and Ever from season 22. Yep, folks, it's another Big World episode. Stick around for the fun. Here's the clicker. The episode starts with the engines leaving for their jobs, and Nia says it's a beautiful day. Gordon says he prefers clouds. Well, I guess he's emo now. Nia asks why Gordon is so grumpy, and Thomas says he's still sad because Edward moved out of the sheds back in season 21. Later, we're seeing Philip and Percy asking Henry if he told the Fat Controller something. Oh, we'll get to that in a second. Gordon shuts them up. Then, Nia brings Gordon his coaches, and Gordon starts being rude to her. The Fat Controller tells him to apologize, and he does, but also asks him why Edward moved to Wellsworth. Topham tells him it's because it's closer to his branch, and Henry rolls in and says this.
And Sir Topham Hatt says I can stay in the sheds in Vickerstown from now on.
There is literally no reason for Henry to go to Vickerstown. Even if Edward leaving sucked, it sorta made sense why he left, but Henry? What was the point of that? Oh, so they could introduce a new character that did nothing. Oh, okay, I see now. Gordon gets mad and starts throwing a tantrum. I'm not even joking.
Shall I push my coaches from now on instead of pulling them so?
How did he get there?
Come on, Annie and Clarabelle. Let me take you on Thomas's branch line for a change. So Topham Hatt is changing everything. You can take the express, Nia. I'm going to shunt cars in the yard. So Topham Hatt wants to change everything.
Hey, does anyone else remember when Gordon wasn't a piss baby? Gordon then asks Edward again if he could come back to the sheds, and Edward says he's happy at Wellsworth. The Fat Controller rolls in with Winston and says that if he's going to act like this, then he could just go back to his shed. Gordon agrees, and we're shown him cooped up in the sheds, and he whines about Sir Topham Hatt making the railway as silly as he wants to. Then we're shown this.
Hello, Gordon. I hope you're enjoying all the changes I've made to the railway. Oh, what's this here?
I literally have no words. This is just here to make sure the kids are still invested in the choo-choo trains. Also, I'm pretty sure that's like the show's version of like Wilbur Audrey up there. I wonder how he'd feel about this.
No.
The stupid brain rot sequence ends when Nia wakes Gordon up. Gordon is then like, oh, I'm gonna stay in here forever and ever and never come out again. Nia then says that she has friends in Africa that are farther than Edward and Henry are, and says her old friends are still her friends. I mean, are they? I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure she left them for no reason. I could be wrong on that, though. I really don't want to watch Big World again. Next morning, Nia asks who's going to pull the express, and Gordon snaps out of it and almost falls into the turntable well. Honestly, he should have fallen, and I really hate him in this episode. Gordon apologizes to Nia, and she says she hopes they will both be friends with the other new engine arriving.
We will both be friends with the other new engine, too.
Other new engine? What other new engine?
We don't know yet. But now that Henry's not sleeping at Tidmouth Sheds, someone will have to fill that empty berth, you know?
Gordon didn't even learn anything. He just reverted back to how he was at the start of the episode.
Whatever happened to Express coming through?
Shut up. Alright, so you guys know how Gordon is a whiny and borderline brat in this episode? Well, going back to a shed for Edward, he's literally seen with the happiest face on. See, look, he's as jolly as ever. So now why is he crying about it? Also, Henry being written off is just an excuse so that they can introduce the new girl character. What I find weird is how they didn't need to write these two off. Edward, I can kind of understand why, because he wasn't all that special later on, but Henry still had major episodes. Some having different levels of quality, but he still had major episodes. Why can't they just coexist? This is another reason why the whole Steam Team idea sucks, because the shed is, shocker, an engine shed. That's what I liked about the classic season. Was that, yeah, there was mostly where our mains would be, but they had other characters there too. That made it all the more real. And Gordon's character in this is just atrocious. He literally throws a tantrum all because he doesn't respect Edward's decision. Overall, Forever and Ever is a terrible episode and made me really hate Gordon. You sicken me, Gordon. I really don't know how to end it, so here's the voice actor for Gordon interacting with Mr. Incredible in like a Lego game. Yeah, that's it. That's all I have.
What happened? How many people are still inside? How many people? Oh, I'm afraid we are very busy today, gentlemen. Do you have reservations?
Oh yeah, I have a Twitter now, so make sure to follow that. I know some of you guys are gonna be like, you should say X. Well, Elon Musk doesn't know what he's doing, so I'm still gonna call it Twitter. But yeah, follow me on my Twitter. I like mostly talk about random Thomas facts that I noticed. Yeah.